So in this video we're going to look at stoichiometry. Stoichiometry is the quantitative relationship, or in other words the numerical relationship, between the reactants and the products in a chemical reaction. Here, for example, we've got methane reacting with oxygen, and what we're looking at here is the big numbers in the reaction. Now there's no number before the methane there. That means there's a number 1. Chemists, remember, they've bothered to write methane, so there must be at least one of them. Okay, so there's a 1 methane molecule reacts with 2 oxygen molecules. The stoichiometry here is 1 to 2. To make, now there's no number before the carbon dioxide, therefore it's a 1. To make 1 carbon dioxide molecule and 2 water molecules. So this question says methane, the CH4, will burn in oxygen to make carbon dioxide and water. Use the reaction equation to work out how many moles of oxygen, so that's the question mark, how many moles of oxygen will be needed to react with 2 moles of methane. Okay, so 1 mole of methane reacts with 2 moles of oxygen. So to get from there to there, we had to multiply by 2. And we don't have 1 mole, we have 2 moles of methane. So the question is, how many moles of oxygen are needed to react with 2 moles of methane? Well, 1, we had to multiply by 2 to get to 2, so we're going to have to multiply this one by 2 as well. 2 times 2 is going to be 4, so that's going to be 4 moles of oxygen. 4 moles of oxygen. Okay, so 1 mole of methane makes 1 mole of carbon dioxide. To get from there to there, we had to multiply by 1 because it's the same. So if we start with 2 moles of methane to get from 2 to the carbon dioxide, we're going to multiply by 1 as well. So that's going to be 2 makes 2. 2 moles of carbon dioxide. And the last thing it asks us is how many moles of carbon dioxide and water. So we need to know 2 moles of water. So 1 mole of methane makes 2 moles of water. So to get from there to all the way over there, we had to multiply by 2 again. Multiply by 2. 1 makes 2, therefore 2 is going to have to be multiplied by 2. Multiply by 2 to get 4. And we're going to write the 4 there. Okay, so that's what the stoichiometry question is. We're just looking at each one and the relationship between the reactants and the products. In this next one, half a mole of methane. So we don't start with 1 mole, we start with half a mole. So how much oxygen, carbon dioxide and water are made? Exactly the same logic as the previous one. Leave you to do the next 2 and 3 on your own. Number 4, more difficult. The relationships aren't quite so easy. Aluminium oxide, that's this. Can be electrolyzed to produce aluminium, that, and oxygen, that. Use the reaction equation to work out how many moles of aluminium oxide, so how many moles of aluminium oxide, okay, would be needed to make 10 moles of aluminium. Also state how much oxygen will be produced. Okay, so to get from the aluminium to the aluminium oxide, we have to go this way, don't we? So 4 moles of aluminium are made from 2 moles of aluminium oxide. So to get from 4 to 2, we had to divide by 2. Okay, so 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. Okay, so let's go through that again. 4 moles of aluminium are made from 2 moles of aluminium oxide. So that 2 is less, so we're going to have to divide by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. To get from 4 to 2, we divide by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now the hard one. Okay, 4 moles of aluminium also makes 3 moles of oxygen. So how do we get from 4 to 3? Well, 3 is 3/4 of 4. Okay, 3/4 is 0.75 in a decimal. So if we multiply that by 0.75, okay, we will get, if we multiply 4 by 0.75, we get 3. Okay, if you don't believe me, do it on a calculator. Okay, so 10 multiplied by 0.75 is going to be 7.5. So the answer there is 7.5. That's a very difficult one. Okay, virtually everybody at GCSE would struggle with that. But hopefully you can get the halving one here. Okay, now there's another one of those on the next page as well, which you can have a go at on your own. That's number 5. So let's look at question number 6 here, because it's a bit different now. This one says 28 grams of lithium, so we could write that just down there, I suppose, 28 grams of lithium, react with 72 grams of water to make 96 grams of lithium hydroxide. and 4 grams of hydrogen. So can we use these numbers to work out the stoichiometry of this reaction? Okay, so this is a bit different, but so stoichiometry is the number of molecules that react with each other in a reaction, but that could also be the number of moles, of course, because moles is a quantity of particles or molecules. So we just need the moles equation. So we just need to write moles equals mass divided by atomic mass for the lithium. And we can work that out. Let's do that. So 28 grams. 28 grams is the mass of lithium. Okay, and the atomic mass, that's over here, is Li is 7, so 28 divided by 7 equals 4. So we can, our first stoichiometry number there is going to be 4 for the lithium. Right, so next one, water. 72 grams of water. So let's write moles equals mass divided by formula mass. Okay, it's going to be formula mass this time because this is a formula. This is a molecule, a compound. Let's work out the formula mass of water. 2 hydrogens and an oxygen. So that's going to be hydrogen plus oxygen. Well, hydrogen's got an atomic mass of 1 and oxygen 16. So 1 plus 16 equals 18. So our mass is 72. So 72. Our formula mass is 18. That also equals 4. So we can write 4 there as well. So we've got 4 lithiums and 4 waters. Okay. Next one, lithium hydroxide. Again, that's going to be another formula because this is a compound. Moles equals mass over formula mass. So lithium hydroxide, so that's lithium. There's the formula. Lithium plus oxygen plus hydrogen. Well, lithium is 7, hydrogen is 1, oxygen is 16. So 7 plus 16 plus 1 equals 24. So the mass is 96 grams of lithium hydroxide divided by 24, which is the formula mass, which we just worked out. That's going to be 4 as well. So we can write a 4 there above the lithium hydroxide plus hydrogen. So next one now. Okay, let's do the hydrogen. 4 grams of hydrogen. So again, this is a formula mass because it's H2. It's the hydrogen molecule. Moles equals mass divided by formula mass. Mass was 4. Hydrogen is H2, so it's hydrogen plus hydrogen. Hydrogen atom has a relative atomic mass of 1, so it's 1 plus 1 equals 2. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So we're going to write 2 there. So that's our stoichiometry: 4 lithium, 4 water, 4 lithium hydroxide, 2 hydrogen. But in the same way in maths, if you report a fraction to your maths teacher like that, 2/4, they are shouting at you, saying, simplify it, simplify it. So that's what you'll do. You'll say, well, 2/4 is simplified to a half, because you can divide 2 by 2 and 4 by 2 to get 1 and 2. So can we divide these by a similar number to simplify the equation? The answer is yeah. Let's divide them all by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So our stoichiometry is 2, 2, 2, 1. Okay, this one's very similar. Have a go at that one on your own.